Salaki, Shalom Makim. I just noticed my microphone was muted, so let me check the audio, see if we good. All right, we're good. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bahakwadash. I'm going to give divine honors to the apostles and the elders of great male son who taught us. Me included, this 100% truth, according to the spirits, be Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bahakwadash. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone who taught us this 100% truth according to the spirits of be Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect out there pushing this word through the four corners of the earth in true sincerity. I say shalom. And once again, I want to say call hello Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rachakwadash. Again, Rachakwadash, the Holy Spirit, to do the lesson on today. Lord and the Ephesians and chiefs of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. So I got a video through the parents for the Yahweh Bahashem. I'm probably gonna put is Slack. I'm probably gonna be putting a lot of these up. A lot of lives. It's probably gonna be little lives. How long Spirit won't. Has it go. This lives in particularly shouldn't be too long. I just wanted a response to Elder Magala and down here the big bro down here in James Dallas. But my phone was having problems, so I couldn't do the phone. I was gonna do it when I want to do it, so I gotta do it when I get home now. So yeah, I was watching this video, which I'm gonna share. Right, I was watching this video by the elder Saquon. That's his page right there, Bon Ra Abel Bon, which is Ra Abel Bon. See, his son is Reuben in the Hebrew. Bon is son. So this is the elder's page. It's called Helpers and Friends of the Prophets are very important and will receive salvation. And it's a beautiful video, heavy video, man. If I recommend you go watch the video. It's always good, because the helpers, the friends of the prophets, it's always good to talk about them too, because them too, they are a part of the elect. They might not be the governing body, but they are that innumerable multitude we did a speech about in Revelation 7. It names off the 12,000 for each tribe, which is the governing body. Then it talks about an innumerable multitude no man can number. And they always clothed in white robes. That's the helpers, the friends of the prophets, the prophets, women, kids, So beautiful video, and I just wanted to land back off of it, but particularly I wanted to go into the aspect of using your gift, because being a friend of the prophet, being a friend of the prophet, helper of the prophet, or if you are a prophet yourself, a teacher yourself, and you just happen to have more free time to be your give more help. The scripture's going to give according to thy strength, you know, we got to be sure to not neglect those gifts that have been given to us by Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, because those gifts essentially they give us room on the chariot. Those gifts cut us a piece of the pie, you see. So I want to get this one, the scripture itself, neglect not the gift that was given thee by faith. All right. Let me get that. This is First Timothy chapter 4, verse 14. It says, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which is given thee by prophecy, right? And what is that gift? Now, essentially, that gift is the gift of faith, because there might be particular brothers out there that you don't necessarily know what your lot is exactly, but you do know that you have received his understanding and you believe upon your Yahweh Shai, and you go out there, you teach, you push forth this word, you exhort brothers, and the chief gift that brothers all have is how to minister unto each other and how to submit unto one another. As Yahweh Shai said, they should know that you are my disciples by the way you treat one another. So the chief aspect of our gift is faith, and the beginning of us our learning gives is learning how to serve, man. But that gift that is in us that was given by prophecy, which is faith. because it was prophesied pursuant to Malachi 1, how John the Baptist, aka Elijah, aka today Robert Bivens, will turn the hearts of the sons back to the father. And Ezekiel 33, Ezekiel 37. You see, goes into that those dry bones in the valley, and somebody breathed on them to him, which was Abba Bivens. And what happened was they gained the sinews, the flesh, the breath. You see, because it even goes into that says with the laying on the hands of the presbytery, which is an ancient men. You see, so it says neglect, not that gift. As a matter of fact, I want to get that word neglect. So this is in the Greek, Strong's G 272. Emielo, Emielo.
Strong's G 272, Ameleo, Ameleo.
So it's Ameleo, yeah, Ameleo, and it says to be careless of, to neglect, to make light of. You see, it says to make light of, man. So, in other words, having an entitled spirit, man, to make light of. The scriptures liken a man receiving his understanding, he'll go and sell everything that he has. Let me get that right quick. Uh, Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if it pops up. I put go sell everything. Let me put it in a different way. Let me pop up. Let me see if I can find it. Real quick, bear with me, Akim. Not the math 19. Let me see. Is this it? Yep, Matthew 13:44. Matthew 13, right? I think I ain't spell it right. Bear with me, Akim. Matthew 13:44 says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field. Now, when you think about treasure, and we just read, it says in 1 Timothy 4:14, neglect not the gift that is in thee, that was given thee by prophecy, by the laying of the hands of the presbytery. And you went into that word neglect, amielo, which means to make light of, neglect, right? And it says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, that which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and sell all he hath and buyeth that field. You see, so and what is the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is receiving this wisdom, this knowledge, and understanding. That's where it begins at. So us receiving this wisdom, this knowledge and understanding, we're not to neglect it, which was given us, well, which we the only we've had access onto this wisdom, this knowledge and understanding is by way of our faith. So the Lord giving us his faith, which gives access to this wisdom, the knowledge, understanding of the scriptures. We're to treat it like it's treasure. You see, we're to treat it like it's treasure. It's precious. You know, going into that gift, because the Lord giving us the gift of faith, and like the Zaquan was going to, you have helps other prophets, and with you having helps other prophets, don't neglect that gift. Don't neglect that gift. Don't neglect being a help unto the body. Don't neglect it. You see, you got to treat that gift. You got to see that gift as if, if you're working at a job with Esau, if it wasn't for you having this particular skill, you would have been fired. That's how you gotta look at your gift, because that's what it is. If it wasn't for the Lord giving you that gift, you wouldn't be a part of the ministry. You wouldn't be a part of the body, because therefore you wouldn't be no use unto Him. But He gave you something so you could be used unto Him, which of course it starts with your faith. And if your brother don't even know his gift, man, hey, your ultimate gift is faith in ministry. So be a minister in due time. The Lord kind of gravitate you towards what's your bread and butter, what you're really good at. You see. So I want to get this real quick, right? It ain't gonna be too long. This is not Proverbs. It's Ephesians chapter 5, right? Let me see. Is it Ephesians 5 or 4? I think it's Ephesians 4. Yeah. Right, I'm reading this is right. Start at 4, Ephesians 4 4. There is one body, one spirit, even as ye called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, and one baptism, one God, one power, and one Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. Right? So it's only one. There's only one source, you see, to the extent of the gifts that we've received. And that's Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shah. It says, but unto everyone of us is giving grace according to the measure of the gift of Hamashiach. So through Yahweh Shah's sacrifice, every one of us a part of this ministry, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a help, you know, whatever the lot the Lord has you at that's beneficial to the body is all been given to us, and we gain access by way of Hamashiach's sacrifice. Because when you read, right, verse 8 says, wherefore he said, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men, you see. So Yahweh Shah conquered death, and he led captivity captive. He conquered death, and he gave gifts unto men. He went into the heavens. He ascended up. You read about that in Revelation 5. You go into Revelation 5, Yahweh went up to the Father, he loosed the seals, and now we're able to gain access to the seals to essentially what? Equip ourselves with the proper things to receive salvation. As you read about that in 2 Timothy 3, it says how these scriptures are able to make thee wise unto salvation. That access is only able to be done through Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, his death, burial, resurrection. You see? That's the only reason you could be a help to the ministry. That's the only reason you could be a prophet. That's the only way you could receive his understanding, right? So it says, now he ascended, right? What is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all the heavens, that he might fill all things. You see, going to Yahweh Shah fulfilling prophecy and everything that was spoken about him by the prophets. You see, as you read about in Isaiah, it speaks about how it's going to be a root that comes out of Jesse, and he's going to have the government upon his shoulders. Even as Isaiah goes into how there's a man that the Lord afflicted for the whole sins of the nation of Israel. So by this individual, by him descending, right? You read about that in John 17. He said he glorified the Lord on earth, whether I not restoring back to the glory that I had within the beginning. Yahushua came down on this earth, was a sacrificial lamb, went up to the Father to do what, right? And he gave, it says that, because we read it, it said that he went up and gave gifts unto men. That's what he did, right? It says, and he gave some apostles, in verse 11, he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying, which means the build up of the body of Hamashiach, right? Till we all come in the unity of faith and the knowledge and the Son of the power unto a perfect man, complete man, unto the measure of the statute of the fullness of a Mashiach. You see, so the gift that we've been given through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashar by prophecy is essentially is going to help build the body and bring the elect to the unity of the faith, which also means that that gift, if you don't use it, then what? You're being of no use unto the Lord. It's like unto the Lord, because these particular, the ones that appointed prophet, apostles, evangelists, some pastors and teachers, all of these are working together in unity to receive salvation and get that blessing. You see, to be the first fruits. It reminds me of a construction site. You have in a construction site, you have a steward, right? Which could be he could be called the project manager, whatever, or the GC, the general contractor. But usually they appoint certain people. You have your plumbers, you have your sheetrockers, you have your electricians, you have your gas, you have your sprinklers workers, or the fire department workers. See, you have carpentry, you know, AC, HVAC. You have all these people that's appointed, right? And as long as they come to the job site and utilize their gift, which is the field that they're in, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, welding, sheetrocking, carpentry, fire department for a sprinkler system, gas, you know, elevator, whatever they're in, they utilize that field and they accomplish the task that they're given. Is going to lead to the fullness of the group that's been contracted, all of y'all, to complete the establishment of the building of the building, which are not we building up. Yahushua said he's the chief cornerstone, or not we building up the temple of the Lord. You see, building up that spiritual ark, right? So, with that being said, they all receive a cut of the check. But the person that gets the biggest check is obviously the project manager, because he's the project manager. He's the one running the show, calling the shots, and he's the one that gets the biggest backlash if anything goes wrong. He's the one in authority, but everybody else gets a check. You see? So it's the same thing in his ministry. As we sit here doing the work of the Lord has appointed plumbers, electricians, HVACers, you see, sheetrockers, shit. You even got the women that just clean. A lot of construction sites, you be having like a group of women that'll come in there and they just clean up. They'll just clean. When it's part of when the building's gonna be finished, they have those women come in and clean the place up. Now their position doesn't seem as important as the ones building the building, because they're not doing the measurements, they're not cutting anything, but it's very important as theirs. It's just as important, because you could build a building all day, put the thing up, and those guys might throw away the trash. But the building got to be nice, clean, and ready to be up and going, ready to run for customers to come in, so it could be good for marketing. You know, if the place is all dirty and shit, nobody want to go come in there and buy nothing. Well, this place is filthy. It's not gonna be good for marketing. It's not gonna be good to make money. So those women are just important as the guys that are out there. The guys that you mainly see, they're out there working. Same thing as the prophets. Now, of course, those women don't receive the same amount of money as the sheetrockers and the plumbers and all that, but they get a piece of the check. They get a piece of it, and that's the same thing in this ministry. You have the prophets, you have the helps, as we just read. The evangelists, the pastors, the teachers. All for the perfecting of the saint. And of course, there's a hierarchy, but at the end of the day, you all get a check, which is the salvation. See, we all gonna go receive salvation. Now of course the prophets, according to prophecy, they will be the governing body, so they will be joint heirs with Yahushua, but just to be a part of that batch, to receive salvation in Babylon Great, to be a part of the first fruits, that's not something to be slept on, man. That's a high glory that you're gonna have and high fame that the Lord's gonna give you in the kingdom of heaven for that. It's gonna be a fame, you're gonna receive a glory for that. See, so it's important that you use that gift and don't neglect it. You're supposed to treat that gift as a play. This gift is the only reason that you have access to be at this construction site. You don't got no business trying to sit here and do plumber's work when I hired you to be an HVAC, to do AC. I'm gonna get this. It's Proverbs chapter 18, verse 16. It says, "A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men." And do not we want to be brought before the greatest man that ever touched earth, Yahushua? But we want to be brought unto him. Shit, we want to be not shit, but shoot, we want to be brought unto Yahweh by Yahushua, you know. And Yahushua just had nothing but a good report of us, good, thy good and faithful servant. You see? Yeah, I don't like what it said. I was trying to see what's in the NLT. It's KJV is where it's at. And read again, Proverbs 18 and 16. It says, "A man gives maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men." I want to see what that word gift means. I just want to see what it means. Never really looked at it. Strong's H4976. Mathan. Mathan, right? Mathan. And it says gift offerings, presents. Ooh, offering, right? Makes me think about Romans 12, which is a quam pulled at Romans 12, man. We supposed to be giving up an offering to Yahushua. Kiss the sin, lest he be angry. I beseech you therefore, brethren, right? So like said, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of our Lord, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, aka offering, wholly acceptable unto the Lord, which is a reasonable service. You see, that's what we need to be doing. Giving up our body as a living sacrifice. That's our offering. Dedicating our time to perfecting that gift, that skill that we have, so we could be useful, a proper utensil used for the Lord, right? Right? I'm gonna get this. This is Romans 12 and 4. It says, "For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so not the same position, but they're in the same body." Like we just read in that Ephesians. One God, one power, one spirit, one Father, right? It says, "So we, being many, are one body in Hamashiach, and every one members one of another, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us," right? So the grace, because what the word grace means, it means receiving something that's undeserving. In other words, it kind of is thinking about receiving an opportunity. So we've all been given an opportunity that we shouldn't even have, but we've been given an opportunity to work we've been given an opportunity of a lifetime to work for the Lord, based upon the gifts that He equipped each one of us with. It says, "Whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith." What does that mean? That means that you don't be trying to be. You just came in. I'm gonna be drop videos. Don't be looking at Elder Apostle Har, Elder Apostle Bar, Elder Apostle Rahai, Elder Apostle Ramlab, the elder bishops of Connecticut. The elders of your camp. You know, top brothers in your camp, top officers in your camp. Don't be looking at them thinking, "Yo, you finna be pushing out videos like them," because they have a different portion of faith that you have. Just deal with the portion of faith that the Lord has given you, and maximize it. Here it is, you an apprentice at the job site, but you trying to do the shit the journeyman do. You can't do the shit the journeyman do. You're not gonna work as fast as the journeyman. You're not gonna do the stuff the journeyman do. And if you try to, you're gonna fuck something up. AKA, if you trying to be too deep, let me go into the crazy breakdown, and you start going off and shit, and that's gonna lead to what? If you fuck up at the apprentice be fucking up at the job site too much, eventually they replace your ass and send another apprentice. You see, we don't want that. We don't want to be working for the Lord and he replaces because we fucking up too much. As the brother Tazamoth always say, I don't know if he coined the term, but I know he said a lot. It's only so many Salakias. You could tell the Lord, man. It's only so many Salakias. You could tell the Lord, right? So it says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophesy, let us prophesy according to the portion of our faith, or minister, let us wait on our ministry. So let us wait on our ministry, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth or on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence. He that sheweth mercy with cheerfulness. Let love without dismutilation abhor which is evil, and cleave that to that which is good. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. You see? Because all these particular things, all these are different gifts in a body, offices in a body, that all help the function of the body, right? And the main gift the Lord's given us is faith and the ministering unto one another, man. That's the main thing. I remember Ariala, he made a video about that. He said, if you don't know your gift, in due time the Lord will show you. But the main gift He's giving you is His faith and to be able to minister. Because that's what it's all about. It's called a ministry for a reason. It's all about ministering to one another. Yahweh Shai, He said that you will know you are my disciples by the way you treat one another, not by the way you teach, by the way you take, by the way you go pick up a brother, by how much money you be giving the church. No, he said by the way you minister, pretty much. How the way you treat one another, they're gonna know you are my disciples. Showing you that that's one of the chief, most important things, man. As a matter of fact, that's what Paul said. It don't matter if you have all these other things. If you don't got charity, that's what it is. The Lord, it don't matter. You ain't got the spirit of Yahweh. All right. This is First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. It says, though I speak with tongues of men and of angels, right? Speaking in Hebrew, because that's the language that angels speak. You fluent in the Hebrew. You probably fluent in Spanish. You probably good with the Greek. You good with other languages. You fluent in Hebrew, or you're really good in the Hebrew. It's hard to be super fluent. We in captivity, but it says, and have not charity, I become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I can remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. You see, so Paul, he's going to keep going. It's going to mention how you can have these particular gifts that the Lord has given you, but if you don't have the charity, then it doesn't matter. Because the charity is the glue. That's the super glue right there. The faith and the charity is the super glue. Like I said, the gift that the Lord has given us chiefly is faith, and faith, what? Faith and fear. What does it do? It breaks down to that you having charity for one another. Because you see Yahweh in that, brother, and you understand that this is the commandment of the Lord. He said that this law hangs the whole prophets of all the prophets. Love the Lord with all thine heart, mind, and soul, and love the neighbor as thyself. Then Yahweh said what? He said, if you love me, he said, if you, they'll know, so he said, they'll know you are my disciples by the way you treat one another. You see? So, yeah, man, I just want to touch on that real quick. Lord, this is edifying to the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, and feeds and edifies you, lamb and sheep of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, man. I'm ended up as a call law Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Yahudash. When they get my honors to the apostles and the elders of great mills on to y'all, I'm gonna say shalom.